In the sterile halls of Riverside Hospice, where life and death dance their eternal waltz, worked a young nurse named Sarah Mitchell. At just 19, she carried herself with a practiced grace that masked a heart as cold as winter frost. Her doe-eyed innocence and gentle smile were weapons, carefully honed through years of studying human nature. Sarah wasn't like other nurses who found their calling in compassion. No, she saw opportunity in others' vulnerability. Growing up in a middle-class family, she had always yearned for more. Designer clothes, luxury cars, and the kind of lifestyle that her modest salary could never provide. The hunger for wealth consumed her thoughts, turning her dreams into calculated schemes. When Harold Winchester was admitted to the hospice, Sarah's predatory instincts awakened. At 80 years old, the widowed business tycoon was worth millions, and more importantly, he was alone. His children, scattered across the country, rarely visited, too busy with their own lives to notice the subtle changes in their father's care arrangements. Sarah began her performance with the precision of a master artist. She would spend extra time in Harold's room, sharing stories of her fabricated childhood that mysteriously mirrored his own. She learned to laugh at his dated jokes, to touch his hand with just the right amount of tenderness, and to look at him with eyes that suggested something deeper than professional care. "You remind me so much of my late wife," Harold would often say, his voice thick with emotion. Sarah would smile, knowing each comparison was another thread in the web she was weaving. She studied his wife's photographs, adopting her mannerisms, even styling her hair similarly. The transformation was subtle but effective. Days turned into weeks, and Sarah's influence grew stronger. She began arriving early for her shifts to bring Harold his favorite breakfast, blueberry muffins from the bakery across town. She would read him the financial papers, showing an impressive understanding of the stock market that she had carefully cultivated through late-night study sessions. Other staff members noticed the special attention, but Sarah had prepared for this too. "He reminds me of my grandfather," she would say, her voice carrying just the right note of innocent affection. "We lost him last year to the same illness." The lie rolled off her tongue smoothly, earning sympathetic nods from her colleagues. Harold's children grew concerned about the young nurse's increasing presence in their father's life. But by then, it was too late. Sarah had already secured her position as his confidant, his trusted friend, and eventually his new love interest. The scandal of their relationship only served to push his family further away, leaving Sarah as his sole emotional support. With methodical patience, she guided Harold's hand as he made changes to his will, suggesting charitable donations to obscure foundations that she secretly controlled. She played the role of the reluctant beneficiary perfectly, protesting when he insisted on leaving her a substantial portion of his estate. "I care for you, not your money," she would say, knowing each denial only strengthened his resolve. When Harold passed away 3 months later, Sarah wore black and shed tears that never reached her heart. The legal battles that followed were fierce but futile. She had documented everything meticulously, building an unassailable narrative of devoted care and genuine affection. The security cameras had captured hundreds of hours of her seemingly selfless dedication. Today, Sarah lives in a penthouse overlooking the city, her name routinely appearing in society columns. She's known as the young widow who transformed her inheritance into a successful investment portfolio. Sometimes, during charity events, she speaks fondly of her late husband and their brief but profound love story. Few know the truth behind her rise to wealth, and those who do can prove nothing. Sarah's cold seduction had been perfect, leaving no traces of manipulation, only a paper trail of legitimate decisions made by a man who appeared to be of sound mind and judgment. In quiet moments, when she sips expensive champagne on her balcony, Sarah sometimes thinks about Harold. Not with guilt or remorse, but with the satisfied pride of an artist admiring her greatest masterpiece. After all, in her mind, she had given him what he wanted most in his final months, the illusion of love. And in return, she got everything she had ever wanted, a life of luxury, built on a foundation of perfectly executed deception.